Why do I do foot and ankle surgery? Well, it's by far the most complex part of the body in terms of orthopedics. But also, I'm a keen runner, I'm a keen cyclist, and I've had so many problems, so many injuries over the years. It was very natural, therefore, to gravitate towards the area which has caused me so many problems in the past. The foot, I think, has three main elements which are essential for keeping us healthy. First of all, the foot is incredibly sensate. It's an incredibly sensitive structure, sensitive organ. We tend to forget that. In fact, if you look at the representation of the foot in the brain, it has a very similar area to the hand. So we recognize the hand as being sensitive, yet in terms of its representation, the foot is also extremely sensitive. The foot is also incredibly mobile. It is not a rigid structure. It is not a structure that should be combined to a solid shoe. It is a structure that is designed to move and to adapt to terrain. When we land on a foot, it is designed from turning from being a rigid structure to a mobile structure to absorb impact. It's then designed to become rigid again, to propel us forward for the next step. And controlling all of those are a lot of muscles. And there are two main types of muscles functioning in the foot. We've got the long extrinsic muscles which provide power, they propel us forward, they hold the foot in a particular shape. And then you've got these tiny little muscles called the intrinsics, which we've forgotten about. And I think we've forgotten about them at our peril, because it is the intrinsics that ultimately control each toe, each joint. It controls how power is generated higher up in the leg, thereby controlling the position of the foot. It's the sensation in the foot that tells us exactly where the foot is on the ground, and it's that position on the ground, of course, which can then affect how that foot eventually functions. The foot is essentially the foundations on which the rest of the body is supported. So anything that interferes with those foundations, I suspect, or I believe, leads to some of the problems we're seeing at the moment in terms of injuries and injury-related illnesses. I look after a lot of professional athletes and so forth, and one of the commonest problems I see is that of ankle instability. Ankle instability is that feeling of the foot not being stable when you're running. You feel as if you can't quite trust the ankle, and it's usually associated with a number of injuries, turning injuries and so forth. Now, one area we've been working on quite a lot is in the rehab phase of this. And one thing that's become very apparent as time has gone by is that if you can increase the sensory feedback through the sole of the foot into the ankle, we can often rehabilitate these athletes much more effectively, much more efficiently. So one of the areas I think where training can be improved in the future is to increase sensory feedback through the sole of the foot. Why is this important? Because if we're getting more feedback from the sole of the foot, we're getting increased tone in the muscles of the foot, because these are responding to the ground, they're responding to the stimuli, but you're also improving balance, we're improving proprioception. So one area I think where training can be improved in the future is by increasing the feedback. Simpler way of doing that, to have a shoe that increases sensory feedback, that is a more supple shoe, a shoe that has less padding, a shoe that allows that foot to move and feel the ground underneath it. If one assumes, therefore, that the foot is a sensate organ that is designed to move, that is designed to adapt to terrain as a function of those muscles we talked about earlier on, then it seems to me to make natural sense that when we're designing or looking at shoe wear, we're looking at a shoe that actually allows that foot to function as it should. So the basic philosophy, the basic design parameters of a good shoe, whether it be for walking or for running, really should be a shoe that provides sensory feedback. Okay, and that's not something I've thought about. That's fact. We know that's the case. There's plenty of research to suggest that increasing sensory feedback from the foot helps prevent injuries. That's the first thing. The second thing, that shoe should allow the foot to move and to adapt. The foot is designed to absorb impact. It's designed to slowly relax as the foot hits the ground. Therefore, in many ways, there is no need to protect the foot from these things. These are natural forces which we've always subjected the foot to, and the foot is designed to do so. So in simple terms, I think there are three parameters to a good shoe. It is a shoe that allows the foot to adapt to the terrain. It is a shoe that allows for sensory feedback so the foot knows what it's doing. And then finally, it's a shoe that doesn't protect the foot from impact, but allows impact to pass into the foot, thereby allowing it to function normally.